You won't believe what unfolds in this courtroom. A self-proclaimed sovereign citizen takes over the hearing, claiming he's completely immune to the law and challenging the judge at every turn. From questioning the court's authority to threatening lawsuits against officers, and even the judge herself, he tries every trick in the book to derail the proceedings. He refuses to sign documents, objects to pleas being entered on his behalf, and insists on representing himself, saying he doesn't need a lawyer. But the judge isn't backing down. She sets bail, considers a competency evaluation, and carefully navigates his bizarre claims while keeping control of the courtroom. The tension keeps building as he doubles down on his tactics, making outrageous statements, and trying to turn the hearing into his personal stage. Every moment is unpredictable, every argument gets wilder, and the drama is real. This is more than just a hearing, it's a front-row seat to legal chaos, a masterclass in courtroom drama, and a striking example of how far someone will go to challenge the system. Stick around, because what happens next will leave you shocked, baffled, and completely hooked.
I've made this special dissertation under duress pertaining to the matters of Jonathan Troy, Faifu Leaso Maliatoa Schuster. For I am beneficiary, I am sovereign, I am man, the flesh lives, the blood flows. I am a non-U.S. citizen, American national. I am sui juris in propria persona. I reserve all rights. I do not understand the status, and so I ask you, ma'am, what is your name? What is your nationality, and what is your status?
I'm Judge Grant. I am a citizen, and I'm the judge in this court. You are here subject to appropriate jurisdiction. So you are here for an arraignment. You've been charged with a crime. Today, you will be asked to enter a plea.
Ma'am, I object because a citizen cannot sit a bench, ma'am.
So I'm going to go through the information. It looks like you have been charged with driving with a suspended license, driving without a required ignition interlock device, refusal to comply, not having proper registration on the vehicle, expired over 2 months. And then there was also a driving violation. Wheels were off the roadway. Last two are infractions. So,
ma'am, jurisdiction cannot be proven unless status is established. You have not established status. And so if you cannot do that, I challenge the jurisdiction. And if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this case with prejudice.
That would be denied. So I am going to, at this time, review for probable cause.
Object. Again, I've challenged the jurisdiction, and jurisdiction must be proven.
It's not going to happen today.
Jurisdiction must be proven.
To hear the charges, and I will be reviewing for probable cause, and then we'll make a determination as to whether or not you will remain in custody. And I will hear from the prosecutor as to that.
And if you violate my rights even further, ma'am, as well as the officer and the sergeant that violated my rights, who are also going to be getting sued, it would just add to that. And I don't think that you need to go that route.
While I review this incident report. All right, I do find probable cause with the charges. I will be entering not guilty, please.
Ma'am, you cannot practice law from the bench. I object.
Noted.
You cannot enter a plea for somebody. That is, practicing bench from the law.
Unless you want to enter a plea of guilty, today there'll be a plea of not guilty. I understand you are objecting.
Ma'am, I object. I challenge the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction has not been proven or established. And once again, you haven't even established, your nationality or your status. I am a non-U.S. citizen, American national by way of America Samoa. I reserve all my rights.
Is this something that we need to consider a competency evaluation for?
We may need to consider ordering ability to proceed, but it looks like you have a driver's license that recently expired.
To question my competency because I'm establishing status and asking you to prove jurisdiction is outrageous. And so, again, if jurisdiction cannot be proven. I move to dismiss this with prejudice based on the grounds that you cannot prove jurisdiction.
All right, I've reviewed this. You were driving in the city of Lake Forest Park. You were violating
Again,
laws.
I was not driving. Again, I have rights.
You were behind.
My rights were violated. My rights were violated. My right to travel freely unencumbered was violated. There was no emergency in which the officer needed to put on his red and blue lights. And so, again, if status cannot be set, jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this matter with prejudice.
That's denied. So you've made your record. Right now, I'm going to directly appoint counsel from the bench. Ms. McDonald.
Again, I am sui juris in propria persona. I stand on my 2 feet. I'm in my proper person. And so I reserve all my rights.
I understand that, and I've acknowledged that. I'm not dismissing your case today. I'm going to hear from Ms. McDonald as to the city's position on release.
Yes, Your Honor, I am going to be asking that the bail remain the same. It looks like it's currently set at $2,000. I do have some concern regarding his willingness and ability to reappear if he was released on his own recognizance, as well as concerned about community safety and risk of reoffending, given his temperament in the court today.
And Your Honor, Mr. Schuster would ask the court to release him on his own recognizance. These are not violent offenses. I don't see that he has any convictions for violent offenses. There was an assault from 2021 that was dismissed. He may have a view of the law that is different than the city's, but that in itself does not indicate that he won't come to court or that he would in any way try to subvert court proceedings. So we'd ask the court to release him on standard conditions.
Well, the court can consider whether or not Mr. Schuster is likely to reappear for future court hearings. What I hear from him today is that he completely objects to this court having any jurisdiction. I don't have a good faith basis that Mr. Schuster will return if I were to release him. I do see that he has a prior conviction for DUI. He's on a deferred prosecution at this time in Seattle Municipal Court. He's not complying with conditions if he's driving without a license and driving without a required ignition interlock device. Also indication that Mr. Schuster will not abide the court's orders to appear on his promise. I want to look at the Seattle Municipal case and see when he's next scheduled to appear.
Like you had mentioned too, in 2021, same situation, or not same situation, a situation occurred in which they tried to charge me. They didn't have jurisdiction. It was dismissed. And again, I don't want any charges against me because I do have the deferral, which would obviously violate that deferral. And so I will make any visitations, special visitations to the court to handle any matters pertaining to Jonathan Troy Faifaleasa Malietoa Schuster. I'm a man, I'm free, and I want it to stay that way.
I do see it looks like he's got at least 3 prior warrants. He has 2 priors out of Benton County, 1 out of Lower Kittitas. The previous warrants history.
And throughout this process of going to courts, I've had to learn a lot. And so I know it's no game to just not show and make visitations. That's not what I want to do. And again, jurisdiction does need to be proven, whether it's today or another date. And if you want to violate my rights even further by not releasing me on my own recognizance, ma'am, was it Jennifer Grant? Then, like I had mentioned earlier, you, along with the officer and sergeant, who are already going to be getting sued, I mean, there's no need to add you as well, especially when you know the law.
I do not.
I don't see another date set until February 12th of 2025 in the Seattle
In
case.
Seattle Municipal Court.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Schuster, I have to do what I believe is appropriate in this case, and that is to set bail, and any threats to sue me or to take any action against me, I can't be swayed by that. So
It's
you
not
can
a
do
threat. It's just what it
can-
have been violated,
you can
and
do
if my
what you
rights
need
are going to be
do, but
furthermore
you set
violated.
bail at $2,000. I do not believe that you will respond to the court's order to come back. I do base that upon the conduct in this case, as well as the prior FTA history. So bail will be $2,000. If you're able to post bail, you are to return for your next court date. You are to have no criminal law violations. You're not to drive unless you have a valid license and insurance. And
When are you setting that court date, Miss?
Required by the Department of Licensing. You are, you will be represented because I'm going to assign counsel.
I am sui juris in propria persona. I present myself. I don't need to be represented by anybody. I stand on my own 2 feet.
These are criminal charges that have significant consequences for you. So it's in your best interest to have counsel.
Again, I
assist
stand
you.
on my own 2 feet. I do not need to be represented by anybody. I present myself sui juris in propria persona.
Well, if you want to be your own counsel, you'll have to go through a full colloquy and waive all your rights to have representation. It's your constitutional right.
I do not accept being represented by anybody. Again, I present myself. I am beneficiary. I am sovereign. I am an American national, a non-U.S. citizen American national by way of America Samoa, like I had mentioned earlier. I reserve my rights, and I do not need to be represented by anybody.
All right. The time for trial expiration is 8/9/24.
Again, if you are practicing law from the bench and putting a plea in for me, I object to that. You cannot practice law from the bench.
Next court date will be,
We want to try for next Wednesday or even the week after that.
well, next Wednesday's a holiday, so the 18th, which is pretty full. So I was going to set this on June 24th. That's 2 weeks out.
So for the record, you have not established status. You have not proven jurisdiction, and you're denying my rights. Is that correct?
I don't know what you think would establish my status, but I do have status to sit in this court.
You are a
Here
U.S. citizen. A U.S. citizen cannot sit a bench.
Sign for your next court date.
You're asking me to sign something that you pleaded for me. Is that
I'm
correct?
giving you notice of the conditions that I have set as well as bail.
You said
I'm
yes,
noting
you
that I
pleaded for
found
me.
Probable cause. If you are able to post that bail and get out of custody, those are my expectations that you will come back on that court date and that you will abide by the conditions that I have imposed. Those are being ordered today. So that is what's happening today. And we are giving you that notice. You can refuse to sign that notice, and we'll note that you were provided a copy in writing and that you refused to sign.
I do not understand.
Which part of it do you not understand that you have a?
I
piece
do
of
not
paper
understand how
with
you can
the
practice
document?
law from the bench.
I'm the judge and I am setting the conditions.
Well, you also entered a plea for me, correct?
What we're doing at arraignment is the plea is being entered. You're not pleading guilty, so on your behalf, I'm entering a not guilty plea.
So, correct, you
cannot-
are pleading for me,
There's
correct?
two pleas.
And if you
Not
plead
guilty
for me,
or
you're
guilty.
practicing law from the bench. You cannot practice law from the bench, so I object.
Right. I'm going to give you that piece of paper and we're done with your hearing today. We will see you in 2 weeks. Okay?
Jennifer
Okay.
Grant, you will be
Okay.
taken further.
You won't believe the chaos that unfolds in this courtroom. From the very beginning, a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen takes control, claiming he is immune to the law and challenging the court at every opportunity. He refuses to recognize the judge's authority, demanding proof of her status and questioning the legitimacy of the entire legal system. He calls himself a non-citizen American national, and repeatedly asserts that the court has no jurisdiction over him, setting the stage for a hearing filled with tension, confusion, and outright defiance. Almost immediately, he begins making threats. He insists that officers violated his rights and goes so far as to threaten legal action against the judge herself. His statements are not only audacious but calculated to create disruption. He refuses to sign court documents, objects to the entry of pleas on his behalf, and boldly declares that he doesn't need a lawyer because he is fully capable of representing himself. His behavior is unpredictable, raising serious questions about competency, prompting the judge to consider whether an evaluation might be necessary. The charges themselves are straightforward, but he refuses to acknowledge them in any normal legal sense. He has been caught driving with a suspended license and without an ignition interlock device, and he has prior warrants due to a history of failing to comply with court orders. Instead of addressing the facts, he launches into arguments that seem designed to confuse and stall. At one point, he accuses the judge of practicing law from the bench simply because she enters a plea on his behalf. The courtroom watches in disbelief as what should be a routine hearing turns into a battle of legal fantasy versus reality. Bail becomes another major point of contention. The prosecutor emphasizes concerns about his history of non-compliance and the risk that he will not appear for future court dates. He counters, insisting that the court has no authority over him. Despite his defiance, the judge sets bail at $2,000, taking into account his prior warrants and repeated disregard for court orders. Even as he protests and challenges every decision, she maintains control, demonstrating the balance between patience and authority that keeps the courtroom functioning amid his chaotic behavior. As the hearing continues, his refusal to cooperate escalates. He objects to every document presented to him, claiming he cannot understand them, and refuses to sign anything. He continues to insist that he does not need an attorney and rejects any procedural norms. His actions create an intense atmosphere, with each statement and objection adding to the unpredictability of the proceedings. The judge remains steadfast, methodically addressing his claims, dismissing threats of lawsuits, and continuing with the legal process despite the ongoing disruptions. The tension in the courtroom grows as he doubles down on his tactics. He repeatedly challenges the judge, questions the authority of the court, and attempts to turn the hearing into a stage for his sovereign citizen ideology. He claims immunity from the law, refuses to acknowledge the charges, and attacks the credibility of everyone involved. Yet, through all of this, the judge does not lose her composure. She carefully navigates the chaos, ensuring that the law is upheld and that his disruptive tactics do not derail the proceedings. Every argument he makes seems more audacious than the last. Threats, objections, refusals, and bizarre claims continue to dominate the hearing. His insistence on representing himself and rejecting standard legal procedures only adds to the drama. Each time the court tries to move forward, he finds a new way to object, creating moments that are both baffling and shocking. Observers would be amazed at the level of defiance and the sheer audacity of someone who believes they can operate outside the law. Yet the judge's authority remains unquestioned. She responds to his objections with measured firmness, carefully explaining procedures, addressing his claims, and ensuring that the hearing progresses according to legal standards. She sets bail, considers his past behavior, and ensures that his rights are protected while maintaining the integrity of the court. Despite his constant attempts to derail the hearing, she demonstrates the power of order, procedure, and patience in the face of extreme disruption. By the end of the hearing, his tactics have failed. He is denied release, his threats have been dismissed, and the court's decisions stand despite his objections. The courtroom has witnessed a striking example of legal chaos, where a person's belief in their own immunity collided with the reality of the law. It's a vivid reminder that no matter how loud or audacious the claims, the legal system operates within a framework of rules that cannot simply be ignored. This hearing serves as a dramatic case study of defiance, persistence, and courtroom strategy gone off the rails. From threats to lawsuits to the refusal to comply with the most basic procedures, it highlights the lengths to which some will go to challenge authority. At the same time, it demonstrates the importance of judicial control, procedural adherence, and measured authority in maintaining order and ensuring that justice is served. Throughout the hearing, every moment is filled with tension, every statement adds to the drama, and every interaction between the defendant and the judge underscores the clash between personal ideology and the law. It is both a cautionary tale and a compelling story, showing how real-life courtroom drama can be more unpredictable and intense than any fictional account. Observing this hearing, it becomes clear how crucial it is for courts to remain steadfast in the face of disruption and for the law to continue functioning even under extreme pressure. In the end, this hearing isn't just about the charges or the bail, it's about the confrontation between belief and reality, between chaos and order, between someone trying to bend the system and a judge upholding it. It's a story of tension, unpredictability, and legal drama that keeps you hooked from the opening statement to the final ruling. Watching this session, you see firsthand how far someone can push the boundaries of courtroom conduct, and how unwavering the law can be when challenged.